share the symptoms that I experienced before I found out that I was pregnant, and how I found out that I was pregnant, and how I shared that with my family. So with that being said, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so as far as symptoms go, I feel like one of the biggest signs that someone or a woman might be pregnant is a missed or late period. So unfortunately for me, my period has always been inconsistent ever since I started my period. So a missed or late period were pretty common for me. So I never really had the worry or that I might be pregnant anytime it happened. So that was that. And so at this point, it is January, early January, and my missed period was early December. So at this point, it has been a while, and I was like, hey, I told my boyfriend, I'm like, hey, my period is late. I just thought I should let you know. And he was like, oh, like, it'll come. Like, this is pretty normal. Like, it'll come. Don't worry about it. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to worry about it. And so that's how we handled that. And then a few days after that, I started experiencing some lower abdomen cramping, which was pretty normal a few days prior to getting my period. So I was expecting my period any day now. And along with that, I was also experiencing a tender breast, and like the sensitivity of it all. I was experiencing that too, which is also pretty normal before my period. But I think one of the things I should have noticed or like paid a little more attention to was the intensity of how sensitive they felt. For example, I would get into the shower, and like the second like the water would land on them, it would hurt. I'd be like, like they would hurt. Anytime like my partner would brush up against them by accident or touch him, like they would hurt. So I'm like, these are off limits. These are off limits, my guy. No touching them. No touching. So yes, so I honestly was expecting my period any day now. And another symptom that was also very new was tiredness. And I know what you guys are gonna say, like, everyone's tired, everyone gets tired, everyone's been exhausted, which is true. Everyone has been tired and exhausted. But when it comes to pregnancy tiredness, that is a whole nother level. Because there's been times in my life when I've been exhausted and drained and just, I can't. But I've never felt tiredness like this, ever. So I recall a few nights where I would pass out before dinner, or I would pass out before I shower, which never happens. That has never happened. Me and my boyfriend cook dinner together, we watch movies, we stay up till a good hour. So that was very rare for me. So I was like, why am I so tired? Why am I so tired? And I just remember nights where I would knock out without even remembering how it happened. So after that, I was like, whoa, that was like a whole nother level. But another thing that I did experience during this week was I went to work, and I had thought that I started my period. So I went to the bathroom to go check. But it was like a very small amount of blood, which never happens for me when I start my period. Like a good amount always comes out. So I was really like why is this happening? And I wasn't sure why it was happening, but it got to a point where I got concerned. And I called my mom up. I'm like, Mom, like, what is this? Why is this happening? And she's like, you should probably go to the clinic and get it checked out because you missed your period, and now this. So I'm like, all right. So I was like, all right. That did make me worry a little bit, but not once did pregnancy cross my mind. So after that, I did call my boyfriend up, and I'm like, hey, I explained the situation, and I told him that my mom thinks we should go to the clinic. So he was like, all right. And he picked me up, and we went home because it was pretty early. It was like 7 in the morning. And he picked me up, we went home, and at that point I'm like, maybe I'm overreacting or like exaggerating, and like I don't want to go to the clinic and like then feel embarrassed because there was nothing to be worried about. So I was like, you know what, like I don't think we should go, like I don't feel like going no more. And he's like if that's what you want, all right. So that's what happened. So we didn't go, and then the week goes by, the weekend goes by, same symptoms, and then Monday rolls around, and Monday morning a new symptom appears, which is nausea. And I'm not a person that just gets nauseous for no reason, so it was very strange. So at first I thought, like maybe I'm not eating enough or drinking enough water or things like that. So I was like, so I made sure to like eat breakfast, make sure I had a snack between shifts or like between breaks and stuff like that. And making sure I was drinking enough water. I had like ginger on me just to make sure that it would go away, but nothing was helping. So around like Tuesday, Wednesday, I started being grossed out by just looking at food or like smelling food. Like it could be any food in the world, and I would just like, it would make me feel really sick. Also, like I couldn't bear the look of food either. So it was tough. And our break room had a very distinct smell, so I could not be in there. I could not be in there. So at this point, so Thursday rolls around and I'm just feeling terrible, extremely nauseous. And I thought that I should tell my partner. I'm like, hey, like I'm feeling very nauseous and nothing is helping at all. So he's like, all right, like we can go get some medicine. And so we went to Target to go get some medicine. And he's like, while we're here, we should probably get a pregnancy test. And I'm like, for what? Oh, why do we need one? And he's like, because you might be pregnant. And believe it or not, after all of this, after experiencing all of this, I still was confident that I was not pregnant. Your girl was confident that she wasn't. But I gave in. I'm like, all right, if you want to get some tests, we can, and we'll take them. So we got the medicine, we got the test, we went home, and we didn't take the test, or even the next day. But so the next day, Friday, I take my medicine before I have to go to work, just to make sure it kicks in before I have to start working. And it didn't work. It didn't work. And I took it every like few hours. It just wasn't working. So I'm like, what the heck? Like, I was really counting on it to work. So after that, I went home still feeling really nauseous. Like, I was hungry, but I couldn't eat. So I also wasn't throwing up. I was just very nauseous, like no throw up or anything like that. So after that, I kind of was like, whatever. So I got home, my partner got home, and I was like, this medicine didn't do anything, like at all. So, alright, so Saturday rolls around, which is also the day that I found out I'm pregnant. So at this point, it's Saturday morning, my boyfriend has to go to work, and I have Saturdays off, so I was just, relaxing, chilling in bed. And I decided to call my mom, because she's really into like home natural remedies, like for sickness and that kind of thing. So I called her up and I'm like, hey mom, like I've been feeling really nauseous this past week, and the sight of food is grossing me out, and the smelling of things is not good. So I told her, and I'm like, do you have anything that could help me? And she's like, yeah, drink lemon and water. And I'm like, all right, thank you so much, I will try that. And then she was like, how long have you been feeling this way? And I'm like, oh, just this past couple weeks. It started Monday. And she's like, are you sure you don't have like that 9-month sickness? And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, that 9-month sickness. And I'm like, I'm confused. And then I'm like, oh, she thinks I'm pregnant. My mom thought I was pregnant. And I'm like, mom, I am not pregnant. Like, why would you say that? I'm like, I'm not pregnant. But then I remembered we had pregnancy tests. So I was like, you know what, mom, I'm gonna prove you wrong, and I'm gonna take a pregnancy test that we bought the other day, and I'm gonna prove you wrong. So I was like, I'll give you back I'll call you back after I take it and I'll let you know what it says. But I'm like, it's gonna say no. So then after that, I call my boyfriend Trey and I'm like, hey, my mom thinks I'm pregnant, so I'm gonna take a pregnancy test to prove her wrong. But I'll let you know what it says. Pretty sure it's gonna say I'm not, but I'll let you know. He was like, all right, bet. So it comes around time to take the pregnancy test. I go into the bathroom, and at this point, I'm like getting nervous. I'm getting scared. I'm like, all these overwhelming feelings are coming to me, and I'm like, Mom really put all this in my head. I'm like, I'm not pregnant. Like, it's okay, I'm not. But when it came time to wait the 3 minutes to see if you're pregnant or not, I like, you know what? Like, no matter what it says, I'm gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay because you've always wanted to be a mom. Like, being a mom is something you've always wanted. So you'll be okay. No matter what, you will be okay. So after that little pep talk, I looked at the pregnancy test and I was like, I'm not pregnant. I was like, I'm not pregnant. I was like, I told you, Mom, I'm not pregnant. I told you. And then I looked again. And the second little blue guy started popping up. Very, very dim, but he was there. The little blue guy was there, the second one. And I'm like, so I had to look at the instructions. I'm like, what does this mean? Like, it's there, but it's kind of not there. So this is what it looked like. As you can see, 2 very clear blue lines now. It wasn't this clear when I had it, but 2 very blue clear lines. And I'm like, my mom was right. My mom was right. I was wrong. And I started getting scared. I was nervous. I was excited, but nervous and scared all at the same time. Because clearly this was an unplanned pregnancy. And I was nervous. I was like, I wasn't planning on having kids this early, but you know. So before, I was getting ready to call my mom, but I decided to call my boyfriend because I thought he should know first. So I called him and I'm like, hey, like, the pregnancy test says positive. But I'm like, hey, we got 2 pregnancy tests, so I'm gonna take the second one and see what it says. And he's like, okay. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, and then like, he was at work, so he hung up. But part of me was like, damn, like, that's all he said. Like, I was kind of scared because he didn't really show any like emotion, which I kind of understood because he was at work and that kind of thing. So I did wait a while to call my mom because I was just feeling a lot of things all at the same time. And so about 20 minutes passed and my boyfriend got home and I'm like, well, what are you doing home? And then he's like, you're pregnant. And then he got really excited. He was like really happy and he was like, I love you. He kissed me and he's like, we're gonna be okay, and you know, the choice is up to you on what we do. Like, you get to decide what we do. Like, you know, it's your choice. And that made me feel very happy. And at that point, I felt secure, I felt calm, and I knew that it would be okay. Like, even now, like, it makes me feel really good at the way he came about it. So after that, I did let him know that the second one was positive, so we were for sure pregnant. And then after that, I decided to call my mom and let her know that she was right. No, she was right. But my little sister answered, and I just had to tell someone else. I had to tell someone else. And it was my little sister. I love her, and I can trust her and talk to her about anything. So I was like, hey, Narda, I'm pregnant. And she was like, what? she was excited. She was so excited. And later, after that, I also told my mom, which she was really excited about it too. So then came the time for my boyfriend to tell his mom, and when he called her, he was like, the first thing he said when she picked up was like, "Hey mom, you should probably sit down for this." And she was like, "She's pregnant, isn't she?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then she was like, or something like this. She was like, "About time, because I told your sister that she was pregnant like 3 weeks ago." And I'm like, well, what do you mean 3 weeks ago? What do you mean? So there's something about parents, because my mom knew before me and my boyfriend, and his mom knew before him and me. So parents, there's something about them. There's something about them. They know things. So after that, like, you know, we had to make sure it was positive, so we had to go to a pregnancy testing clinic, which we did. We made an appointment, and that same day. And then I also had to call my siblings individually. I decided to call them individually because well, at that time we were all kind of doing our own thing. We were all living in different areas, so I wanted to make sure that I told them myself individually. So I called each of them up. Two of them were very worried. They were concerned. They're like, "What are you gonna do? Like, did you tell my mom?" Like, they were concerned, but they were very happy as well. So, and then I told my other sister, and she said she was very excited. She was very happy for me. So yeah, so I love my family, and the support that they showed me and have given me through it all is incredible. And I'm also very thankful for my partner's family, because they are incredible people whom I care and love so much. But yes, so I don't know why I'm still holding this, but yeah, so at that point, oh, I also tried to call my dad, but he wasn't answering. I'm guessing he was at work. So I did call him later that night to let him know that he was going to be a grandpa. He was also very excited for us. But yeah, so at that point, everyone that I wanted to know knew. But yeah, everyone was very supportive, very happy, very excited, and that honestly made me feel a lot better and about the situation. But yeah, very thankful for all of them. But yes, that is the story, how I found out, and how I probably should have known a while back that I was pregnant. It should not have taken me this long, but it's okay. But yeah. Alright guys, that is the end of my video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful in one way or another. But please do keep in mind that my experience might look different than yours. Again, every woman is different, and every experience is different when it comes to pregnancy, when it comes to symptoms. So please do keep that in mind. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate all the love and support that I've been getting lately. But yes, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.